It says something when the debut of Breezango is potentially not the funniest thing that happened tonight. Oh yes. What's going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal Spaz, Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check, here with your May 16th Raw review, the Go Home Raw for Extreme Rules. Couple little house cleaning things. I do want to encourage you guys, there's about 10 more days left, especially those of you, I've got a big wash of new subscribers in recently. If you're new to the channel, go back a couple videos, see the April edition of Ask the Phoenix. That's my monthly Q&A. If you want to participate, throw your questions down in the box below. I will be doing the May Q&A in about 10 days. I will also encourage you to go back a couple videos and check out the movie recap that Black Cat Feline and I did for Civil War. Typically that happens on her channel, over on the Black Cat Feline channel, which is down in the box below. Due to technical difficulties, it was hosted on this channel this time, and it was a lot of fun doing the whole Google Hangout thing. Still learning my way through it. We'll get to that at the end of this video. Now, I will say off the bat that this was not a great Raw. This was not a great go-home show, and everybody's going to say, oh yeah, well, you know, big surprise, whatever. I'm the guy that particularly goes out and has a good time even when the show's not that great. But what I will say is the stuff that wasn't great on this show made me laugh. Like, there was a lot of stuff on the show that legitimately made me laugh out loud, which made it fun. So even the stuff that sucked was fun, so I still had a good time. I was entertained, so the show was good. You see this logic loop that I'm in. I was entertained, I had a good time, I laughed my ass off, but I'm laughing my ass off because the show was bad. But if I was entertained, how could the show have been bad? But, for all of you that shit on me for being way too positive, because, you know, again, enjoying yourself and having fun is a bad thing, I will not say that this was a spectacular episode of Raw. Excuse me, guys, you know, any of you that have been watching these videos for a long time know my sinuses suck, so I probably sound gross, and I'm sorry. I actually got to sit down and watch the pre-show tonight, which hasn't happened in a while. We got a lot thrown at us at the pre-show. We're going to get Del Rio versus Kalisto tonight. We're going to get Charlotte and Natty in a contract signing for the Women's Championship. And yes, I joked many times on Twitter in various conversations with various people, I wonder if they're going to talk about any dead people this time. Didn't happen. Very disappointed. Ambrose is going to call out Jericho, which is nice. Becky Lynch is going to take on Dana Brooke because Emma's injured, which is also okay. Cesaro is going to take on Zayn in a rematch of their epic feud from NXT. Going to be good. Usos are going to face Gallows and Anderson. Yay! Oh yes! We start off the show with AJ Styles, who gets loud AJ Styles chants. He wants to set the record straight, says he's not a liar, says people think that me and my boys have been conspiring against Roman Reigns, shows some tweets. None of the tweets really say anything about conspiring, they just talk about how great it is to see the Bullet Club in WWE. So that was a fail. He starts listing off his accomplishments and how he doesn't need any help to beat Roman Reigns on Sunday. Roman comes out to big boos, obviously gives AJ his props, you know, acknowledges the stuff that he's done in the past, but, and he says the one line that I'm sure drives every indie fan nuts, no title matters until you've won this one. Nothing you've done before WWE matters now that you're in the WWE. We get Rollins chants, and if I'm not mistaken, we get Ring of Honor chants, which is funny. I'm going to back up the Usos tonight. I'm sure you're going to back up Gallows and Anderson. AJ goes on to mock, I didn't even write it down, he goes on to mock the whole not a good guy, not a bad guy, the guy thing. And Roman, this is idiocy 101. He says, I bet you think you could win a wrestling match with me, but we're not going to have a wrestling match at Extreme Rules, so I'm going to win. And it's, the more he talks, the more he's admitting in his promo that he can't wrestle. Go back and watch this promo again. He's basically admitting that he's going to win because it's not a wrestling match, which is fantastic. The club comes out, the Usos come out, big old brawl, the club bail, there we go. Nothing segment other than the Rollins and Ring of Honor chants, which made me laugh, and the fact that Roman Reigns is out there on a mic admitting that he can't wrestle. Zayn versus Cesaro with Miz, Maurice, and Kevin Owens on commentary. Collar and elbow tie on a power slam by Cesaro, shoulder tackle and a head scissor by Zayn, and that's about all we get. Because Owens attacks the Miz, they brawl on the outside, it eventually wanders into the ring, and we get a brawl. Shane says he's tired of the four of them and says that they're going to have a tag team match tonight. It's going to be Owens and the Miz versus Zayn and Cesaro, which makes sense. And then Stephanie comes out and corrects it. It says, no, the tag team match is going to be Miz and Cesaro versus Owens and Zayn, which doesn't. And because Kevin Owens has a habit of walking out on his tag team partners, if he walks out of this tag team match tonight, he's walking right out of the Fatal 4-Way on Sunday. Fun times, to be sure. Now, this was a crazy, crazy match for me to write notes for, because it's almost like you want to say, oh, they just smacked their partner, but they didn't. But we're going to do the best we can, are we not? Headlock on Cesaro by Owens and a clothesline by Cesaro. Zayn works on Cesaro's arm. Armbar by Cesaro. Arm drag and an armbar by Zayn and a slam by Cesaro. Uppercut by Cesaro. Stomps by The Miz and a headlock. A slam by Zayn on The Miz and a running senton by Owens. Showing a little tiny bit of teamwork between Zayn and Owens. The commentators talk about how they used to be friends. Rah-de-rah-de-rah. One punch knockdown by Owens and chops by Zayn. Forearms by Zayn and Miz zocks Zayn. Zocks Zayn. That's not what it says there, but that's what I said. Miz knocks Zayn off the apron as we go to commercial break. Seated corner clothesline to Zayn by The Miz. And then basically Cesaro comes in because Miz is his partner, and Cesaro does the seated senton clothesline, seated corner clothesline that Miz does as a mockery type thing, one-upping his partner, which is... Top rope axe handle by Cesaro, snapmare and a boot by The Miz. Miz and Zayn trade punches for a while, back elbow and a top rope drop kick by Owens. Clothesline and a cannonball by Owens, back elbow by The Miz, uppercut train by Cesaro and a drop kick. Top rope crossbody by Zayn is caught by Cesaro into a backbreaker that's fucking pretty. Miz tosses out Cesaro and tries for a Cesaro swing of his own, but Cesaro hits the skull-crushing finale on The Miz, who's his partner. Oh, yes. Miz eats the haluva kick by Zayn, and Zayn and Owens win the match, only for Zayn to turn around into a super kick by Kevin Owens, who screams in his face, "I won too, make the referee raise my hand," which is fucking wonderful. The one that's made to look like a bitch in the match is the champ, The Miz, so you guys know I'm not going to like that. But I like the whole Healy aspect of Kevin Owens. Sami Zayn did the work, Sami Zayn got the win, but hey, I was his tag team partner, I won too. Raise my fucking hand. It's fucking, it's ridiculous, but it's good, it's ridiculous done well, if that makes sense. Primo and Epico Mach 3 come out next. They're literally calling themselves the Shining Stars. I really wish, and I really hoped that this was going to be like a nickname thing, like the Game Triple H. His name isn't like first name the, last name Game. Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels, his first name isn't Heartbreak, his second name is... It's a nickname. It's, it is what it is. But they're calling themselves the Shining Stars, which is awesome. What's even awesomer, because that's a word, is that they're facing local jobbers, which doesn't happen a lot on Raw, and should, because you get shit like this. Basically, the jobbers get nothing in. The commentators give us the jobbers' names like once each. The names that the commentators give don't even match the names on the tights that these guys are wearing. If you need anything to underscore jobber anymore, that's what it is. But basically, there's 3 moves in the match. There's a tripleta, which is apparently what Epico calls 2 rolling back suplexes into a brainbuster. It's a takeoff of the rolling Germans that Benoit used to do, the 3 amigos that Eddie Guerrero used to do. It's a back suplex rolled into another back suplex rolled into a brainbuster. It's actually pretty cool looking. And this is what... there's no match here, is what I'm trying to tell you guys. But the 3 moves that they do pull off... Or, sorry, the 2, because the finisher is shit. But the 2 moves that they actually pull off in here are cool, and they could be finisher moves. But the tripleta was cool. Epico also does double underhook like he's going to do a suplex, but he double underhooks and falls back himself, so he drags his opponent into a gutbuster, which is it's really cool. It's like the pedigree in that you're taking not only are you taking a gutbuster, but your arms are grapevine behind you. You have no way of blocking the move. Again, really cool. They didn't give it a name. I'm sorry. It doesn't have a really cool name like Tripletta. But the Shining Stars hit the Shining Star, which is a trip and a clothesline. I think it's what the Ascension used to do, isn't it? The Fall of Man, the clothesline and the trip. It's shit. It should not be a finishing move, but the Shining Stars win. Obviously, Cena returns in 2 weeks, so get excited or get angry. Whatever you're gonna do. Ambrose comes out, he's got a black eye, and he's cutting a promo about how people have always been puzzled by him and they've called him unstable. Talks about the straitjacket bullshit from SmackDown, which I didn't get to review. I did see SmackDown eventually. I really wanted to review SmackDown because of the whole Golden Truth and, you know, Goldango and all that shit that happened on SmackDown that I really couldn't give a shit about. But it would have been funny. Also, because Dana Brooke's in-ring debut was on SmackDown, and it wasn't that bad, actually. But he calls out Jericho. Jericho comes out bitching, whining, kvetching, and pure heel Jericho, like he's good at. You owe me an apology. You owe me money for my $15,000 jacket. Don't get me wrong. I've got money, but I want the money you owe me and an apology. And he says, well, that's not happening. I'm here to tell you about the match we're going to have at Extreme Rules. Roddy, Rah. Jericho accepts, you know, does the typical heel, I can take any match you can throw at me type thing. To which Ambrose brings down a modified steel cage. You've got the black steel cage and the top of the cage, and you've got another framework on top of that that has all kinds of weapons on it, and basically lets us know that there's going to be an Asylum match at Extreme Rules, which is cool. He says there's no escape over the top or out the door, so I'm thinking it's either pinfall or submission only, but above the cage, there's all this shit. And as my buddy Guapo said, there's fucking nunchucks. Oh yes, I'm more concerned with the fact that there's Barbie up there, there's a straitjacket up there, there's a fire extinguisher and a bunch of other things. What really caught my eye, and no, WWE is PG, so this wouldn't happen. I would really love to see somebody get their hands on the straitjacket and the barbed wire bat, do the whole... If you remember how disturbing Rock versus Mankind was in the first I Quit match, just straight shots to the head over and over and over again until Mankind's head was basically goo. If one of them got the other in a straitjacket and then got their hands on Barbie, you could have a really gruesome, really gruesome scenario that would never take place in the WWE. That's the one time I will say that TNA, when they were at their height, had it kind of good. Because you had guys like Abyss, who sucks, let's be real, Chris Park, Joseph Park, all that crap. But he had Janice, the board with the nails in it, and he was just fucking people up in a way that you can't do in a PG era. But basically, yeah, they're going to have this weird, modified, you know, take it up a notch cage match that apparently you can't escape from. So that's a thing. What I wish was that this were either... There's two ways I would love to improve on this. Either I want this to be basically a caged-in I Quit match, which would be great, or something along the lines of you got to scale the cage, but it's not to get out. You got to get your opponent in the friggin' straitjacket, and then you get to do whatever you want with them. I don't think either one of those are going to happen, personally, but those things would be cool. This, even still, this promo with the sort of the thriller slasher music in behind Dean Ambrose while he was explaining what the match was going to be, and Jericho gradually shitting his pants, was a cool segment. It could be good on Sunday. I really hope they haven't oversold on Raw what they can't deliver on Sunday. But I've got high hopes. Becky Lynch versus Dana Brooke is up next, and we hear that Dana Brooke is out by herself because Emma is indeed injured. She suffered some sort of injury to her back at a house show. Oh my god, throw her on the long list of people that are injured on the WWE roster. But we're getting John Cena back soon. And there's a mosquito for reasons. We had hail over the weekend here in Canada, and now I've got mosquitoes. So that's a thing. Becky Lynch versus Dana Brooke happened on SmackDown, but a thumb to the eye by Emma on the outside got a quick win for Dana Brooke. So going into this, it's a rematch. Dana Brooke, just... I shouldn't like Dana Brooke, because she is basically the Barbie doll that we don't like, sort of jacked up a little bit and actually athletic. I think Dana Brooke is kind of what they thought Kelly was going to be, but Kelly kind of sucked instead, so... Collar and elbow tie-up and boots and knees by Dana to start off the match. Forearm knockdown by Becky. 3 arm drags and a drop kick by Becky. Becky eats the rail on the outside pretty damn hard, and then some mounted punches by Dana when they get back in the ring. Stomps and a bow and arrow by Dana. Uppercut by Becky. Slam by Dana. Back elbow and rolling clotheslines and a leg lariat by Becky. Forearm splash in the corner by Becky and an exploder suplex. But here's the deal. Becky tries something from the top. And I say something because Dana goes up to get her and basically takes her from the top turnbuckle into a fireman carry position. Becky tries to reverse out of that and tries to sort of skin the cat down Dana's back. Dana basically sits down into the pin that gets the win. This was a couple of good minutes of what could have been a great longer match, but it was stopped by a really messy finish. It was really shit. I like Dana Brooke. You guys know how I feel about Becky Lynch. I'm really sad to hear that Hot Heel Emma is on the shelf. This could have been cool. This could have been like Dana's the surrogate to keep the rivalry between Becky and Emma going until Emma comes back from whatever she's done to herself. But this was not a good finish at all. As I say, there were some good points in the match, and I think these guys these ladies could have a good mini feud going forward. But the way it ended was just messy and shit, and I don't like it. What the fuck are they doing with Darren Young? That's all I have to say about that. The Dudleys walk in to the McMahon's office, and they're talking about what we can do for you and making you money and rah. Here I am, hoping that they want to elbow their way into the tag team title match on Sunday. You've got an Extreme Rules pay-per-view. You've got a tag team title match. You could throw in the Dudleys, make it at the very least a triple threat match, which is automatically, matches become no disqualification as soon as they become triple threat, right? Now you could, on top of that, because it's the Dudleys and because it's an Extreme Rules pay-per-view, that's enough of an excuse to make it a tables match. Have the Vaudevillains and or the New Day get the win over the Dudleys. That way, A, they've got the credibility of beating the Dudleys. B, whoever didn't win, either whoever wasn't involved in the pin at all, could say, hey, you didn't beat us, and the feud can keep going, and the Dudleys can... that didn't happen at all, did it? The Dudleys come in, and they say they want to show this new era how it gets done, and... basically, there's only one way they can really say this. They ask Stephanie and Shane to give them a match with local jobbers. Not even local jobbers, but like X, Y, and Z. Just like, give us some local jobbers to beat up, is what they go in there for. But instead, Stephanie and Shane tell him that one of you is going to face Cass tonight. Yay. Because this is how they're going to keep this feud going until Enzo comes back. You gotta believe, when Enzo and Cass took on the Vaudevillains were gonna win anyway, go on for a title shot, and Enzo and Cass were gonna continue their rivalry with the Dudleys. I fully believe that. Until somebody can prove to me otherwise, that's what I'm gonna believe. But if they gotta wait till Enzo gets back from a concussion, I don't know how long concussions last. I don't think it can all last on Cass. I'm just saying. But yeah, one of them, they gotta flip a coin, and Shane says they gotta go and caucus amongst themselves to decide which one of them's gonna face Cass. Jesus Christ. The Golden Truth take on, and I shit you not, Breezango. Let that sink in for a second. Now, we've already seen the debut of Epico and Primo version 3. We've already seen these teams, a little bit mixed up, fight on SmackDown. Now, it makes a lot more sense because you don't have a heel-face team like you did on SmackDown. You've got the Golden Truth, who they've been teasing for ages. And what the problem with all this is they've teased the Golden Truth thing for so long that I don't care anymore. But I am legitimately intrigued, shoot me if you want, about this team of Fandango and Tyler Breeze. People were upset when Tyler Breeze came to the main roster and he wasn't used properly. They threw him on that big long list of, everybody from NXT gets mistreated, except most of them get rockets shoved up their ass, but that's another story for another day. On the other side of the coin, you got Fandango, which is a shitty gimmick, but I've always said the guy's underrated as shit in the ring. Put these two guys together, make them be this super douchebag prima donna team, it could work. And as Golden Truth are just like the lovable guys that are in WWE still for reasons, it could be good. Double leg takedown by Truth and a start, a mud hole by Goldust, a 10 punch by Truth, and a double team by Breezango. Yes. Truth and Fandango hit a double clothesline spot, rolling clotheslines by Goldust, an uppercut and a power slam. Truth walks in and kicks his partner in the face, and Breezango get the win. The win, not the wind. That's about it. Goldust is down on himself again because Goldust plays a depressed guy really, really well. R-Truth tries to get him back up on his feet. This is our first match. We got to work the kinks out. Rah. Goldust has a great line in this because he's like, "Oh, you mean the kinks? You mean like kicking me in the face?" Which is great. They're arguing amongst each other until Breezango come and make fun of them, and they're being made fun of by two younger talents, and that's what makes them finally handshake and finally agree to be a full-fledged tag team. So in one night, we've got 3 new tag teams. We've got, what the fuck are they called now? I want to say the Shooting Stars, but that's not right at all, is it? The Shining Stars, Breezango, for fuck's sake, and finally, the Golden Truth. Aren't you excited about this golden era of tag team wrestling? The New Day come out with a big cardboard box that's dressed up to be like a time machine because they're making fun of the vaudevillains, of course. They say they haven't gone back far enough. Kofi Kingston pops out of the time machine with the old Jamaican accent doing all the boom, 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 and there's trouble in paradise, and I should never do a Jamaican accent, should I? They go back farther in time. They come out with mustaches, and the Bootios cereal box has been reduced to derriere squares, which is interesting. Vaudevillains jump them. So this is a very, as much as I like the New Day, this is a very typical one person or one team are out there making fun of their opponents jump them, end of the segment. What I do want to take from this is potentially the Vaudevillains have a new finisher, because the Whirling Dervish is shit. I'm just putting that one out there. But they do this wicked, Aiden English sort of gets him up in a full vertical suplex. Gotch catches him in a powerbomb position, and they do a really, really, and I'm sure this is the first or second time that they've ever done it on TV, but it's a really nice powerbomb neckbreaker combination. Think of when Evolution reformed and they were beating the crap out of Daniel Bryan, as much fun as that was, and they tried to combine the Batista Bomb and the RKO. It's kind of like that, but better, and being done by guys that aren't gigantic. If this is their new finishing move, fantastic. Keep the Whirling Dervish. It's cool. It works for their gimmick and whatever. Use it as a setup. Hit the Whirling Dervish and then hit this neckbreaker powerbomb. That's a much more believable finisher. I still don't give a shit about the Vaudevillains. The black and white thing is getting old. Really, the black and white thing is getting older than Sin Cara's mood lighting. Is it not? I really hope they don't win on Sunday, but we'll get into that later on. That was the end of the segment. They got their asses... The New Day got their asses kicked 2-on-3. Yay! Anyways, Anderson and Gallows versus the Usos. Again. Yes, again. Oh, yes. Anderson and Jimmy start a side headlock by Anderson, a slam by Anderson, and a back elbow by Jimmy. Corner chops by Jay, uppercut and a toss by Anderson. Lots and lots of scratching, because I thought it was going to be a commercial break, because Michael Cole just stopped talking, like he does when they go to commercial break, but they didn't. Slam on Jay by Gallows twice in a shower of elbows, almost Ziggler style. We're going to get into Ziggler in a bit as well. Mudhole by Anderson and a choke in the ropes, a high knee in the corner by Anderson, which is cool for the bigger guy. Anderson really does look like Joey Mercury on steroids, doesn't he? I'm just putting that one out there. Leg drop by Gallows and a knee lift and an uppercut by Gallows. Super kick and an uppercut by Jimmy and a corkscrew moonsault. Kind of Jeff Hardy-esque. Speaking of Jeff Hardy-esque, poetry in motion off the steps by Jimmy, which makes me smile. I went out, I got a buddy, right, who doesn't watch wrestling, but he will always ask me what's going on in wrestling, because he knows that it's something I'm into. And then we'll talk about movies and some other shit. We were at the bar, grabbing some drinks with a couple friends. He looked up at the screen for half a second because SmackDown was on, saw the Usos, and I shit you not, said I didn't know the Hardy Boys were still wrestling. Oh yes. One punch knocked down by Gallows as we go to the actual commercial break. Anderson rides a headlock on Jimmy when we come back from the commercial break and follows it up with a clothesline. Body blows in the corner by Gallows do look impressive because the guy is not small. Jimmy tosses both of them out of the ring. Suicide crossbody by Jay on both men. Top rope crossbody by Jay on Anderson once he gets back in the ring. 2 super kicks and a Samoan drop by Jay. Anderson runs up the ropes and knees Jay in the head, which, again, they're not exactly small guys. Very impressive looking. Spinebuster by Anderson, and they talk about Arn Anderson and the Spinebuster, and they're in Flair country, and yeah, I don't give a shit. Follows it up with the rocket kick. Super kick by Jay, super kick by Jimmy, and then the double super kick by the Usos. Top rope splash by Jay gets a clean as a sheet victory for the Usos. Oh yes, but the 6-man brawl afterwards, the 2 tag teams fall away on the outside as they always do. It comes down to a stare down between the 2 that are going to be fighting on Sunday, and that confrontation ends with a kind of shitty looking but still really effective looking Styles clash on Roman Reigns on a chair. Now when I say it wasn't that impressive looking, it's because the chair was in the wrong spot, and instead of landing it face or landing it on the chest, he kind of landed it half and half. So you got to imagine when he came down, the rim of the chair hit him in the chest and in the chin. I will give them a little bit of slack on that, though, considering how much bigger Roman Reigns is than AJ Styles, and should he really be trying to do the Styles Clash on Roman Reigns? That could be something they play up to on Sunday. I hope they do. It makes sense, because Styles trying to lock the Styles Clash on somebody that much bigger than him looks ridiculous. No offense to the guy, but it does look a bit ridiculous. Speaking of ridiculous, Big Cass versus Devon was a really short match that ended in the East River Crossing, and Cass gets the win. Cass single-handedly handled the Dudleys, the single most friggin' honored tag team in history, were taken out by Cass, by himself, for reasons. In your main event match, Kalisto versus Alberto Del Rio. And when I heard this on the pre-show, I thought, you know, they're not going to do anything with Alberto Del Rio, but at least he'll be featured in a decent match. Because let's be real, since long before the League of Nations, they haven't done anything good with Del Rio in a long time. The best thing they've done with Del Rio is form the unlikely but kind of cool tag team of Alberto Del Rio and Rusev, because they actually do work as a cool tag team. Keep that in mind. We're going to talk about that in a second. But, they do play up a lot of the history between Kalisto and Alberto Del Rio, which is nice. We're getting Alberto Del Rio in a singles match, which is nice. We're getting Alberto Del Rio in a singles match without the League of Nations bullshit, which is really, really, really nice. Collar and elbow tie up and a headlock and a shoulder block by Alberto Del Rio. Del Rio locked Kalisto in the Tree of Woe for some Daniel Bryan-esque silly kicks. Oh yes, Alberto Del Rio rides a headlock, stomps the head, tilt-a-whirl head scissor by Kalisto. Alberto Del Rio takes him outside the ring and swings him by his feet head first into the rail as we go to commercial break. Top rope punch by Alberto Del Rio, which is something I never understood. Get up on the top rope, come off the top rope, and punch him in the head. No need to go to the top rope whatsoever. Kalisto eats post shoulder first, and we go to the screen, the Titantron, where Rusev is beating the shit out of Sin Cara in the back. Sin Cara, there's no tag team anymore. Sin Cara is literally just a prop in the storyline that is Kalisto's United States Championship run. It's kind of sad. Del Rio rips the tail off Kalisto's mask, which is good. Dropkick by Kalisto, who eats post again! For reasons. Oh yes. Top rope Hurricane Rana by Kalisto, but Rusev drags the almost lifeless carcass of Sin Cara down the ramp, throwing his head into various posts of the ring. The commentators play up that Kalisto is trying to, ignore that, stay with the match, but really he's just carrying on with the match. I really hope at some point this gets into a Kalisto versus Sin Cara thing, because that could be fun, but that's another story for another day. Head scissor DDT by Kalisto, backstabber by Alberto Del Rio. Alberto Del Rio wins due to all kinds of distraction and interference. Sin Cara is dead on the outside, Kalisto's dead on the inside. Accolade on Kalisto by Rusev ends off this segment. He's waving the belt awkwardly like he's never held a belt before. which he has. He fought John Cena for it at WrestleMania. Just saying. But Rusev's just awkward in general, so it doesn't even faze me at this point. We are getting, guys, huge news. Huge news. Finally. Could have done it at WrestleMania. Could have done it here, there. Could have been the main event of Raw. We are finally getting the one epic. The one epic that we've been waiting so long, that everybody's been wanting for, that everybody's been chanting for, that everybody's been salivating for at Extreme Rules, in an Extreme Rules match on the kickoff of all places. We are getting Baron Corbin versus Dolph Ziggler. Yeah! Anyways, the main event segment of the show is the women's contract signing, which was shit. Let's get into this. Rick introduces Charlotte for reasons. Charlotte and Natty. Somebody commits the crime of giving Charlotte and Natty microphones. God damn, their promos suck. They just do. In the mix, you find out that in part of the contract is that if Rick is anywhere near this match on Sunday, Charlotte is going to... Basically, she's going to forfeit the match if Rick comes anywhere near the match. And if they don't sign on to that part of the contract, Charlotte's forfeiting her match right now. Flair goes nuts, gets in Shane's face, wants to fight Shane, starts taking his jacket and his watch off and all this shit. You know, Shane kind of trying to be the respectful guy. Hey, you're the man. We're in the middle of Flair country. You're a legend. Don't do this. Don't ruin your legacy type thing. I got way too much respect for you. And Steph's like, well, I don't, and slaps the living taste out of Ric Flair. For reasons. He goes more nuts. And that action alone is the first time we've ever gotten Stephanie chants since she was the general manager of SmackDown. I'm pretty sure of it. In all the kerfuffle, in all the Ric Flair and the McMahons debacle, we do have Charlotte, obviously, in the sharpshooter by Natty to end the show. My God, that was shit. I genuinely have nothing to say about the main event segment, but everything else on this show was decent and either built to Extreme Rules or made me laugh. So as much as it wasn't great, this is what I said at the beginning of the video. As much as this show wasn't great, it made me laugh out loud a lot. So I had fun with it. I was on Twitter ripping the show with other people. I was making the jokes like, "Oh my God, a women's segment is closing the show. Whose death are they going to talk about this time?" All that sort of thing. It was a bad show, but I can't say that it was a bad show for me because I had fun with it. And I hope that makes sense. Now, I do want to say to you guys, any of you guys that are around tomorrow night at 11:30 my time, which is I think 10:30 Central or something like that. You've probably already seen the icon on my channel if you're already subscribed. If not, why aren't you subscribed? Subscribe down in the box below. Guapo and Kristen and I will be doing Tackle live, Google Hangout, 11:30 p.m. my time. I really hope you guys join. Those of you that are seeing me for the first time, please subscribe and join us tomorrow night. We had a lot of fun. Join us in the comment section like we did before. Please bear with us. We are still getting to know the Google Hangout system, but it is a lot of fun. I find the interaction a lot of fun. Kristen and Guapo are great. We have a lot of fun. I really don't know what else to say. Please come join us tomorrow night, 11 p.m., 10 p.m. Central, and we're going to have a great time. We're going to be previewing this show. May or may not have a little sub-conversation about the recent releases in WWE if we have time. Anyways, either ways, come join the chat. Toss us some questions, and if you want, toss us some opinions, some comments. If you want, yeah, it will be better than this show. But this show was fun. Tomorrow's going to be fun. Thank you to those of you that have already gotten on board and helped with the hype and the excitement around the live thing. Because, like I say, still learning, still relatively new. It's a lot of fun. I hope I can keep doing it, and I hope you guys keep enjoying it. I will reiterate one more time, you got about 10 more days if you want to throw your questions onto the comment section of the April Q&A. For the May Q&A, I will be doing that sometime after the 25th. Please go check out the review that Kristen and I did for Civil War. It was also a lot of fun. I'm running out of things to say, and I don't have anything really super catchy to end this review on, unfortunately, so closing sequence in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I've been Spaz, your YWC Reality Check. Subscribe up there. Talk down there. Start a conversation. Keep all these conversations going. Don't be a stranger. I'll talk to each and every last one of you later, but for right now, I'm tagging out. Bye, guys.
Don't shine, come and break like me.